listen. I'm Steve Ray, filling in for Greg Rempe tonight on the big show, the big barbecue show. I'm going to share with y'all something I found interesting while canvassing local news items. Now, I don't know if you believe in climate change, global warming, if you're pro, con, don't believe it, if you think it's just weather. I'm not going to tell you what I believe because what I believe is not important. But here is the thinking of some people. And I found this quite interesting, the way some people think. This writer, Eduardo Garcia, from the New York Times, he says, I went to my first cookout of the year a couple weeks ago, and while I really enjoyed the cold beers and plenty of delicious food, I couldn't help thinking about the smoke that came from my friend's charcoal grill. Does that smoke contain high levels of greenhouse gases? For insight, I contacted Eric Johnson, an environmental consultant based in Switzerland, who actually wrote a study comparing the carbon footprints of charcoal in gas grills. Now that's interesting. Mr. Johnson said charcoal grills typically generate 3 times as much greenhouse emissions than gas for the same cooking job. Mr. Johnson says people tend to overuse charcoal, but when you use gas or propane, you turn the grill off and on. He found that a typical charcoal grilling session emits as much carbon dioxide as driving a car for roughly 26 miles. He says that may not sound like a lot, but consider the fact that approximately 90 million Americans own a charcoal grill. These things add up in the end, Mr. Johnson said. He's also said 2 other factors worsen the environmental footprint of a charcoal grill. Not all charcoal comes from renewable resources, and the accelerants that are often used to start charcoal fire are usually made from fossil fuels. The most environmentally friendly way to get a charcoal fire going is to use a charcoal chimney. Electric grills don't emit carbon dioxide, but given that coal is burned to produce more than a quarter of the power generated in the United States, Mr. Johnson said that gas would probably be the most sustainable barbecue option in most cases. Organizing an environmentally friendly barbecue is also about serving food and drinks in compostable or reusable plates and cups, reducing food waste by planning ahead and favoring grilled vegetables over meat. And if you don't want to cut out the meat altogether, you should try a burger recipe that blends meat and mushrooms, or now impossible meat, like the weed burger or the weed whopper at Burger King. Have you had one of those? I had one. I had a weed whopper. You know, I'm going to tell you, if somebody told me, if somebody gave it to me, all, lettuce, onions, everything on it, tomatoes, mayonnaise, I would have tasted it. If they didn't tell me what they did, I would have said, this tastes a little funny, but it's still good. It's a Whopper. It's that close. It's that close. And the only reason I ordered it was out of curiosity. I'm certainly not going to be a weed Whopper fan. But I thought that was interesting. I thought that was real interesting. About that, I don't know. You may not think it was, but I thought it was. And I'm doing a show. Hey, we've got Mike Peterson coming up next. We're going to go to the big board and we're going to get a hold of Mike. So hang on just a second. We'll be right back. This portion of the BBQ Central Show is brought to you by CookingPellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets. For all of your pellet-driven cookers, visit CookingPellets.com. KCBSCommunications.com for more information or to purchase. You can also visit Amazon.com and buy cooking pellets there as well. CookingPellets.com. All right, welcome back. On the line, folks, you don't know what the gentleman who you're looking at, what he did in the latter part of September. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Peterson from Fat and Dumb Barbecue. Mike, how are you, sir?
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm real good. Staying a little bit closer to that computer so we can hear you good, Mike.
All righty. How about, are we having any improvement there?
Oh, that sounds a whole lot better. I appreciate that. Now, what you did, it's so incredible. And I'm just going to tell everybody what you did, and then we'll start talking about it, okay? On September the 28th, Mike and his teammates, and Mike, tell me their names, because I know you want to give credit to everybody.
Absolutely. My good buddy, Trey Corbett, who's been a longtime member of our barbecue squad, and I wouldn't say frequent, but often enough member. My friend Jim Ondick was with us as well, helping us out.
So the three of you guys, 102 teams at the Shawnee Great Grillers State Championship, 102 teams. Mike Peterson, Trey, and his other friend, Fat and Dumb Barbecue, they scored a 180 in chicken, a 174 in ribs, a 180 in pork, and a 180 in brisket for a total score of 714.8572, the third highest score ever recorded in a Kansas City Barbecue Society contest. Mike, that's incredible. That is simply incredible what you guys did. And I can't believe you weren't on the Today Show the Monday after that. If everyone knew, everybody that cooks in competitions knows how hard. Tell me what it feels like sitting at the award ceremony, hearing that nonsense. Just, one 180 after the other.
Well, the first one was a big enough surprise to us, as chicken all year it hasn't been a mystery so much as it was last year, but here in the first one, the announcer didn't even call out the 180 until I got all the way up to the stage. So that I was floored by that alone. And then when we got the third place rib, I was, not surprised, but not disappointed by any means.
I'd say not.
Then as the 180 in pork, to get two in one contest, I've never even thought. You would have asked me 10 years ago if that could have happened, I would have laughed in your face. But and then to hear another one in brisket, I don't know. I felt like Ricky Bobby. I couldn't feel my hands. They just kept floating on up there. Didn't know what to do. Felt like I was floating on air. There have been times in the past couple of years where I've not known where I was going to place in the contest. That's the only time I've ever felt secure.
So I was going to ask you, when you turned in your food, did y'all look at each other and say, that was a good cook? We had a great cook at the Royal and finished in the 200s somewhere. Mm-hmm. So, it's you kind of learn to, judge your own food with as much honesty as you can, but it's not your opinion that matters. You send it off to the judges' tent and they do what they want to with it. We knew it was a good cook. It met our standards. It did the things that I wanted it to do. And, after that, I was just hoping to hear our name a couple of times. And, well,
when they say you want to hear your name last, I got to hear it 3 times.
Yeah.
So we're pretty excited about that.
What did when they announced brisket in a score of 180? There's 102 teams in this contest, which is an enormous contest, and I'm sure that the award ceremonies with everybody's spouse and friends, I'm sure there was probably 400 people there. Did everybody just did they go, oh, or what was their response to that? That's like Elvis entering the building.
I wish I could have heard anything but the beating of my heart inside my chest at the time. I seem to remember a lot of noise. I always screamed fat as loud as I can at the top of my lungs. So it drowns out a lot of things. Funny enough, Shawnee is the first contest I and my friends ever competed in about 9 years ago. And then starting in 2015, we got our first call on ribs there. That was our first call ever. I got our second call ever there the next year. And then managed last year to pull third place there, just out of RGC by about 4 points. And this year, I even wrote the organizer before we started. I said, why don't you give us a chance to beat 913 Barbecue and the McAllisters, who are excellent at everything they do. And sure enough, this year, it just all came together, and we couldn't be happier with the result, obviously. And to fall that short of history by a couple of points, well, I'm not going to say it's deflating, but man, that would have been something special, wouldn't it?
I think you said Donnie Teal has the highest score ever. Nobody has ever, to your knowledge, nobody's ever had 4 180s in a contest.
No one's ever had 4 of them.
And Donnie Teal has the highest score, and there's another one than you guys now.
Yeah, so there's a team out of Louisiana back in 2015, actually on the same weekend, the 4th anniversary of our score, got the very same score at a contest down in, I believe it was Mississippi. And then J-Star here in Kansas City on, I want to say it was September 11th, 2015, got a 714.88.
Wow.
And those are the highest scores I could find, and everybody else tells me Donnie Teal's at the top with a 716.8.
Well, what's amazing? Your friends 913 Barbecue finished second RGC, and their score was 705.
Yeah.
And that normally, now, can you imagine getting a 705 and not walking away with the win? That usually guarantees you the win. That's what's so amazing about that. You said we had a 705 and came in second. That's like saying, I batted 421 this year and came in third.
Yeah, last year we finished third with a 698.
Yeah. So,
and that was as close as I'd ever been to a 700. So I was pretty excited about that. But, at third place, again, still excited, but, man, just, one out of a big banner, and then a couple more points. 913 again finished with, I believe, a 706 or a 707 last year.
What do you cook on, Mike?
I cook on an Assassin 32 gravity feed.
And what are your? I'm sure you've got some sponsors that you'd like to mention on the road.
Oh, sure.
Well, hold on, wait till everybody can go pick up a pencil and paper, okay? Because right now everybody's Googling Assassin smokers. I assure you.
Right. Call Jeff Conley down in Georgia, man. He makes a tank of a smoker, and he'll customize it any which way you like. My title sponsor is Strategic Capital out of Kansas City. They do small business funding. So if anybody's got a barbecue business, needs to fund a PO and just can't get the money together to fill an order, they're your folks. Give them a call. Capital with Strategy hashtags. The other big one, and this is kind of a shameless plug for myself and my friends, reach right on back here, is let's get her in there. Be Nice Gardens. Friend of mine started a honey company, and I asked him to make an infusion for me. And, I've been over the moon with the results. One of the biggest things is this bottle of honey right here. That's a year old.
Oh my.
And that honey still flows. It's nothing but honey and flavor in there.
Did I
No
see the
fillers,
word? Did I see the word
nothing else.
habanero on the front? I believe. Yeah, habanero infused honey.
Yes, sir.
And now where can we?
We have jalapeno and as well as some other flavors. Garlic is by far the best on chicken, if you have my opinion, but I'm not touching it in competition.
Yeah.
You can get it at BeNiceGardens.com. You can get it at the Kansas City Barbecue Store, which has also been very good to me over the years. They have it online as well, and we'll be on Amazon here in a few weeks.
All right, what we're going to do, we see. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to stop. I'm still seeing you, but we're going to put up the screen. Can you see that screen from where you are?
I sure can.
Okay, good deal. All right, let's go. Let's start right over here to my left, the 180 under the chicken. That's the chicken box, and this I'm sure you probably got this already framed and on your over your mantle. But
to be honest with you, it's not my prettiest boxes in the world.
Well, they all scored 9s.
Oh, I'm not going to argue with that, sir.
Yeah, they scored 9, so somebody thought they were pretty. When you were doing the chicken, was there any sort of a feeling, that either good or bad when you were getting your chicken together, when you were building the box? It looks like you used kale. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm tired of playing with parsley, man. That's a struggle I'm well over.
I'm with you. Everybody seems to be going with it. When I put my chicken in a box, we did a little contest here a couple months ago, and I couldn't get it right, and my partner had to jump in and straighten it up for us, and we ended up getting first place in chicken. Did y'all?
Congratulations.
Well, it was 9. No, don't worry about that. When y'all were doing the chicken box, and I know all three of y'all look at it, were you like, this looks good, or, boy, we could have done this better, or,
Well, those were the prettiest 6 pieces I had in my tray of 10, so those are the ones that went. The other 4 got to be tasters. I don't think they lasted very long. Really, the biggest key for me is I do most of the prep and the trimming before we even get to the contest, so I just try to make sure they're trimmed right before we put them in the cooker, and then hopefully they don't misshape or deform while they're cooking, as chicken thigh tends to do from time to time. That's really the only thing I can say about it is I'm going by bite. I just want it to be done, and if it looks a little funky, in KCBS, a 699 is the same as a 989. So if you got to give up anything, it'd be appearance point. But obviously, I thought it was a good box when we put it together, and I got some agreement. Looking at it real close, I can nitpick anything basically. I see a couple of pieces that are longer than others, but mostly they're the same size, they're the same color, they're the same shape. The gap between them is the same between the first 4. And
that when you take a picture of a box, it doesn't look the same as when you're looking at it in person. Because because the judges, they don't. I mean, they don't look at these boxes very long. It's a glance more than anything.
Oh, I know it. And I know it. We take a picture before we turn it in and look at the picture.
Yeah. But what about when y'all tasted it? Did it did you taste it and say, "Man, this is." We've never done this one. This is good. This is good.
Oh, no, I'd say that our chicken has been good all year long, and we've gotten rewarded for it a couple of times. But this chicken was as good as the chicken that I cooked at the Royal in the Open and the Invitational. 2 weeks prior to that, I had great chicken. It just didn't score well. I cooked some chicken last weekend that was real good chicken too. Chicken, as far as flavor and tenderness, is pretty consistent. I'd like to thank my friends David and Bethany at 913 Barbecue for as much help as they've given me over the years, as I've slowly picked off a question or two at a time from my friends in the barbecue community. Last year, Bethany had the best chicken in the country. A year before that, she was real close too. It was just, if you're going to listen to somebody about chicken, listen to some of the best in the country.
Oh, absolutely.
For anybody that's out there that doesn't compete a whole lot, don't be afraid to go ask questions.
It's a helpful community in it.
Absolutely. That's the part that hooked me the most when we started doing this with any kind of seriousness a couple of years ago. Actually, it was 2 years ago. This is our second real season. Was just how open everybody is and willing to help. And if you forget something, they got it for you. If you need advice on something, just ask and be humble, and you're likely to get an answer that's going to be useful. If you come at it with any kind of attitude, you might get some attitude back, but that's just people in general.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's run. Let's move next to this raggedy old box of ribs that you screwed up.
Compart Family Farms rib right there. That's the best rib your money can buy.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 ribs in the box. I like that a whole lot. They look good. Most of them are straight. The ones in the back always look straighter than the ones in the front because you can hide them a little bit.
Sure.
But
Yep.
but the tenderness was obviously there. Everything staying on the bone when y'all tested the.
Oh, absolutely.
The throwaways.
So last year I was lucky enough to be the 23rd best rib cook in the world according to KCBS.
Mm-hmm.
I was winning ribs left and right last year. It just hasn't been that way this year, and that happens, of course. I haven't changed anything. I think that I'm still judging them the same way when I put them in the box. They bite clean, don't pull off the bone, and for the most part, the bones are pretty straight. Obviously, funny enough, I wish I could show you my 180 ribs from last year. They were the first 180 I ever got. It was not the straightest rib in the world, but man, were they cooked right.
Yeah, I think. Well, taste and tenderness, I think, trump everything, especially tenderness.
For sure.
Tenderness, it's like those great cooks, like you always say. It's always about the tenderness. All right, let's move over here to the pork box. Looks like you got some tubes on top, maybe a little bacon.
Tubes and bacon mixed up.
Yep.
And then
that looks like a
two money muscles made.
Yeah.
2 money muscles made to look like one.
And that's
as much as I could.
A good job of doing that, and they look big too.
Yeah, we were real happy. The big one's on top, so you can see it. The ones in back there are a little bit smaller, but you can't see the bottom half of them.
But they look really nice. Nice color. I like the darkness of those pork. Now, are you saucing your pork any, or are you just using the au jus when you put it in the box?
I use au jus and a little bit of sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to over sauce pork at all.
Yeah.
I think it takes away from it. Again, with everything, I mean, I've had people tell me there's too much sauce on my ribs, and then I tell them there's about 1.5 ounces on the entire rack. Same way with pork. There's a little mixed in. I usually mix some au jus and sauce together and put it on there. Again, that's a lot of that color on the money muscle comes from that Be Nice honey. That's our habanero on there, and the jalapeno goes on the ribs. And
you know what I tell you?
Shines things up real nice.
I'll tell you what I like on that box, Mike, is the neatness on each side of the pulled. That's hard. That's hard to get, and that's impressive. I think that really looks nice.
It's a lot easier if you just use a knife.
Yeah, that's true. I was trying to compliment you.
I get you. That again, if I nitpick, I see a couple of pieces crossing my straight lines there that I don't like. But pork's one of those things,
brother, enjoy it. They ain't going to come back and give you a 179. Okay.
I know it.
It's too late.
But it's one of those things that I'm always running short on time on pork.
Yeah.
I don't care how much time I got. It's every second from the second I turn in ribs to the last second possible to turn in pork. That thing's getting worked on. So sometimes it just comes down to putting what you can in the box and letting the judge do the rest.
The more I look at those ribs, Mike, I mean, the color of those things is like that looks like an A series Wilson baseball mitt, just a beautiful color. No, it's a good thing. No, it's a good thing.
I've been rubbing it with glove oil. It's cool.
But I mean, just looking at it, the more I look at it, it's I mean, the color is just. I'm sure when the judges saw that color jumped out at them, and they said, "My God, that's beautiful."
There's a lot of folks that turn in real dark meat. That's not me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's the chicken speaks for itself. It looks like it's in a mirror. It's so shiny, and the ribs do too. And that pork, the way you've got that pork in there is just everything's just. It looks like it's compartmentalized, and that big money muscle on the right. I thought that was I like that technique. Moving over here to the brisket, turned in the burn ends, which always, that's a chance because because it gives them two things to judge, and I'm never gutsy enough to turn in burn ends because I'm scared that they're gonna, I'm scared that maybe someday I'll screw up and cook a good brisket and turn it in, but the burn ends will, drag me down. So tell me about those burn ends.
That's certainly happened to us.
Yeah.
So that we've been through that struggle many times. That's the continuing debate in the trailer come turn in time.
Yeah.
We cook burn ends every time. Sometimes we taste them and they're fantastic and they go in the box. Other times we taste them and they're just, too chewy. And with Wagyu, of course, the fat content in that point is so high, it's basically beef butter. Mm-hmm. It's always the debate for us is whether or not we put those things in. This time they turned out great. We just thought there was no way we wouldn't put them in the box. That's the only condition I'll put them in there.
So everybody took a bite and said, "These are spot on." Was put them in.
Yeah, but more so than normal. Usually the reaction on the burn ends is always good, but we've done it a few times now where we felt obligated to put in burn ends because we won with them the day before, the week before, what have you. And that ended up catching us. And I make notes after every cook is what exactly was I looking at when that burn end got it to the box? Mm-hmm. Was it mushy at all? Did it have fat running through the bottom of it? Was there any kind of overly softness? Were they too wet? Really? In this case, they hit the mark. They were dried out enough that they had some tooth to them and didn't feel just like mush.
Yeah.
And
that's hard to do. It's hard to get that
too.
Texture. It's like doing ribs and getting that velvety bite off of a rib. Those there's such a small margin of area in a burn end in a contest, and you got to hit it because those judges, they sample so many of them. They know the good ones from the posers too.
I tell you, there's a lot of guys that are cooking a prime burn end or point, and then a Wagyu flat.
I've heard that
just to get the burn ends. And I'm not doing that. I'm not buying any more than $200 brisket. You're not getting me spending more money.
Well, we got a deal on this one. It was only 110, right?
There you go.
Yeah, we used the cheap one. This one. The slices look really good. It looks like you may have had a flash go off on your phone. Probably, it made it look a little bright. It looks like because
it washed it out a bit.
Yeah, because the burn ends look a little bit darker than there, and that's usually the case on that. But good looking boxes, Mike. Real good looking boxes.
Appreciate it. We've been working real hard on boxing for the last 2 years, and I think this year it's finally come around. I got a technique I like that's fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that kale's amazing, isn't it? And you know what's neat about it? It seems like every year, every time you check or do a little research on it, somebody comes up with a different way to do it that makes it even easier than the first way. They're just, instead of cutting, they're just pulling, and then all of a sudden it's just it's just like a big mess, and then all of a sudden they show the camera, and that box looks like a putting green.
Right.
And that's what I'm always looking for. I want that real smooth, contoured, a little hump like the crown on a baseball or a football field in the middle, just a little one to make those middle pieces stick out a little bit. And it looks like you've nailed that technique because it looks really good.
Well, I started by shopping at like 12 different Walmarts for the perfect parsley. Mm-hmm. Then got fed up with it and found out that I could just buy pretty much 3 random bunches of kale and then one real pretty one with nice tightly wound leaves, and then I could be done with 4 boxes and not have to stay up all night going to every Walmart in town.
Did your team ever go with just leaf lettuce? before that?
That's what we started with.
Mm-hmm.
We said, forget all this fancy stuff and just cut leaf lettuce and literally stick the curl bends up in the corners and pile it up in the middle. It was
because you can cut it
really
off and stuff some in there sometimes. Yeah, it doesn't look as. I mean, some of them look really nice, but not as good as that kale does.
You can make anything look good. It's just how much time do you want to spend doing it?
Right, Mike. Do you think that the KCBS has backed off on the appearance of the lettuce and the kale, the parsley, the garnishing? And you say it just doesn't seem to be. I don't know if it's. Let me rephrase it. I don't know if it's not as important anymore as it used to be, or if we as cooks have risen and everybody's building a better looking box.
I think that people are definitely building better boxes, and not only in the appearance, but also in all the categories and all the meat for that matter. There's just so much information out there. You know, when a lot of people started this, there wasn't YouTube to go watch and figure out how to build a box. You had to just teach yourself or learn directly from somebody. Same with all the classes people have available to them these days. It's just so much information to go get. I think the level of the game's really been raised. I hope judges are paying attention more to the meat and listening to the instructions from KCBS to just judge whether the garnish is legal or not. Mm-hmm. I'm just not going to take a chance that that's what they're doing. So my attitude is build it as best you possibly can. And then use it as a picture frame for the meat. Give somebody less to be distracted by. Right,
just make it a part of the picture, not the main picture. And
yes,
I like the way you did yours because it. Shoot, let me find that cursor again here. Let's see. Where did I put you? Right there. Yeah. You've got you've evened it out on the sides really well. Keeping that meat in the middle. Keeping like that on that brisket, you've got a nice row at the top and a nice an outcropping at the bottom. And that's the kind of stuff I think that the judges, I think that's what they look for is kind of a symmetry. Because, like I say, mm-hmm. I've watched them in judges. I've watched in contests them take the boxes to the judges. And it's not they don't sit there with a magnifying glass and, you look on Facebook at the turn-in boxes page on Facebook, and people are saying, well, that one piece of salt on the left corner of the chicken is off-centered. They pick them to pieces, and they're not getting judged like that, man. They're
right.
It's a drive-by.
Yeah, you have about a second and a half to look at the box and make an opinion on it. My general thoughts are that humans have been evolutionarily disposed to look for symmetry, and also the illusion of bounty also attracts us. So if you can make a full box with some nice even edges around it, you've got a better chance for us.
Well, I do too, and I really like the 10 ribs in that box too. I think that looked good, and I think that should have got a 182. I think that should have got a 180 as well. Do they know what they did to you? I mean, we had a chance at history here.
I know, right?
I would have been interviewing you after that girl on the Today Show if you'd gotten all 180s. Good heavens.
I don't know. I probably would have died in the ticker tape parade.
Mike Peterson, you're a good one. I'm going to tell you that right now. I appreciate you spending time with us. I got to go. I got to talk to the charcoal guy. Make sure you stay tuned and listen to the charcoal guy. He's up next. Jon Faulkenberry. He's going to be coming to us from Jealous Devil Charcoal. Okay, so you kick back.
I've used that product before. That's a good one.
All right. Well, he's going to tell us all about it. Mike Peterson, congratulations to you and Fat and Dumb Barbecue. You guys are fantastic, and best of luck to you in the future, man.
Thank you, Steve.
You betcha.
Fat.
Take care. What a good guy, Mike Peterson from Fat and Dumb Barbecue. All right, let's see. That went well. That went well. Nice when Skype works. All right. We're gonna leave the music off so I can hear. I don't know what the heck what the music was. I can say it worked. It worked great when we tested it last week. That's okay. Southside Market and Barbecue bringing you this part of the BBQ Central Show. Attention anyone who loves sausage and barbecue. Established in 1882, Southside is the oldest barbecue joint in Texas. and has been owned and operated by the same family for 3 generations, famous for their original beef sausage and their authentic Central Texas barbecue that is already prepped. You just need to reheat it. They ship nationwide via the online store, SouthsideMarket.com. Shipping customers can choose to order now and ship later, include a custom gift note, and mail to multiple addresses without additional charges. Now, last Christmas, Greg sent me and some friends some sausage from the Southside Market. And folks, it is incredible. It is the taste is just euphoric. So if you've got a special person and they're not, close to you, SouthsideMarket.com, go to the website, and I think if you put in on the promo code BBQ Central, when you check out, BBQ Central is the secret word. When you're checking out, they will give you 10% off on the entire order, not just your first order, but every time you order from Southside Market. That's the code BBQ Central, all one word, lowercase. You've been hearing Greg talk about this. Go do it. Go to SouthsideMarket.com and order it. What the heck? Order it for yourself. Bring it home and taste it. You'll love it. You can even get them to put your name on it. If you order enough, you can put like Owl's Nest Barbecue on it, BBQ Central Radio, Fat and Dumb Barbecue. And you can put any name or label on it, and you can pass it off as your own at the house. How cool would that be? Everybody think you're really something. We'll be right back. Stay with us. The BBQ Central Radio Show. Welcome back to the BBQ Central Show. We're going to go back to this guy, Jon Faulkenberry, Jealous Devil Barbecue. Welcome to the BBQ Central Show, sir.
Hey, Steve, how's it going?
It's going good, John. How you doing? Thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate you taking up the third spot in the lineup. John, I got to tell you, I love charcoal. I love trying different charcoals. I love the way the different ones smell, and I can't wait to try your Jealous Devil brand charcoal. First of all, how did you get into the charcoal business? Because that to me, that'd be the coolest job in the world to have.
Well, I've been in the charcoal grilling industry probably for the last 15, maybe 20 years as a vendor to Walmart. Mm-hmm. So it's been a long road. Worked for some good companies. Got in as a director of national accounts with Royal Oak. Kind of started out my charcoal line, and then a little over a year ago, I met these guys in Las Vegas. And charcoal has always been my Achilles heel, I guess. It's something that I've always enjoyed, and I saw some cool packaging, and kind of drew me into their lump charcoal. And that led to them offering me a job.
Hey, before we talk about the different products, hold up a bag. I think you've got one there close to you, don't you?
I do. I've got to grab it real fast.
That's fine. Take your time. There's no big deal. You should have been here for the first of the show if you want to see a screw up.
Well, I've got one of our new bags. Steve, if you can see this, this is our new line of charcoal briquettes. That we're making be out in the industry middle part of February, but 100% all natural briquette. But the cool packaging part of it kind of stems from a PVC nylon bag, mm-hmm. waterproof, water-resistant bag, reclosable zipper. So you can open this thing up, dump out what you need, reseal it. But the one thing our retail customers are really enjoying is our carry-out handle.
Look at that.
We've integrated carry handle into this where they can actually take this out of the store with them, help them carry a 20-pound bag. Don't have to worry about ripping the tops off the paper bags or anything like that. So it's been fantastic working with these guys and their packaging innovation.
That is a real cool package. I love the reclosable top because how many horror stories have you heard from people that even when you leave your charcoal out, say in the back of your truck or on the back of your cook trailer, and it doesn't rain, it just gets misty at night. It gets
just from the dew,
and then the dew and that'll ruin a bag of charcoal. Just the dew will.
Well, I tell you, I've had a few choice cuss words coming out of my mouth when I try to undo those little string draw tabs, that you try to get undone that never work like they're supposed to work, So it's one of those things. Out comes the pocket knife, and I just cut the top of the bag.
That black piece of tape. It's the black piece of tape on the bag. I'm talking about. That. Sometimes I nail it. Rips. I go, oh yeah. And then other times I'm like you. I'm getting my boning knife out. And I cut it and it tears and I've got a mess on my hands. I try to pour it into my gravity smoker and it goes everywhere. So it's an adventure every time I cook with a bag of charcoal. All right, Jealous Devil. Let's talk about. I'm gonna take a stab. I believe it's pronounced quebracho. Is that correct? The wood.
Quebracho. Yep, quebracho.
Quebracho. Okay. And it's Quebracho Blanco hardwood. Now tell me about that. I've never heard of that.
Well, if I had to describe it, basically it's a white oak species that grows in the Chaco region in Paraguay, South America. Mm-hmm. And the characteristics of this wood, basically it's 30% more dense than the hardwoods that we have access to here in the U.S. Even some of the hardest, like maples, it's 30% more dense than our hardwoods we have access to in the U.S. So it carbonizes very efficiently. There's virtually no waste to this wood once it's carbonized. And the characteristics with 30% more dense hardwood, longer burning time, we actually temp up to 1,100 degrees. Most lump charcoals in the U.S. are going to top out maybe 625, maybe 50, 650 degrees. And ours, they actually smelt metals with this species of wood in Paraguay. It gets that hot.
Oh my gosh! All right, then that brings me up to, of course, that's called the Blocks Fire Logs. And if you're if you're watching at home, go to jealousdevil.com and you can see the complete list of products. This Blocks Fire Log, John, really intrigues me. It's a 14-inch size log made of oak and hickory. Tell me about that thing.
Yeah, we partnered with a company out of Whitehall, Tennessee, and what they're doing is they're taking their leftover sawdust from hardwoods, mostly oak and hickories, and we go through a kiln process where we dry it down to a 6% moisture content. And then it's put into a Shimada press that presses it into these log shapes. Mm-hmm. And what we found, we tested this in a couple culinary schools, and it was performing really well. It's actually a food grade log. It's actually, since we kiln dry it, we kill off any bacteria through the kiln, and it's a food grade. You can cook right over it. So we've been testing this out in pizza ovens. We've been testing it out in fire pits. Cooking s'mores, hamburgers, hot dogs. Now that the weather's starting to cool down, we're starting to get a lot more emphasis on that. And what's nice about it is, since it's kiln dried, we know exactly how long it's going to burn and what kind of environment. It temps up to almost 1,000 degrees, so you can actually burn it indoors in a fireplace in your home. One single log with full oxygen is going to burn for a little over an hour. Mm-hmm. When you control the oxygen in it, a stick burner charcoal grill, a pizza oven where you can control it, you can get hours out of it.
What about like I've got a pizza oven I love to cook on. It sounds like it's like you said, it would work in there really well, and with those kind of temperatures, man, you'd be cooking pizzas in 60 to 90 seconds. Have you seen it work in the pizza ovens? I hope Matt Frampton is from Grill on Grill Actions listening, because he's our BBQ Central pizza expert, and I bet he's really interested in this.
Yeah, and we have been doing it in pizzas. If you went in, I believe there's some YouTube video with the Chicago Culinary School and their pizza division, them actually using it. But, the thing about it is, the thing I've always heard from pizza guys using the brick ovens, 750 to 800 degree deck temperatures are what they're wanting, and you can get that with these logs. You can get an extended burn time, get those decks up real hot. You can still get a little bit of smoke at the top of the dome for that little lick that everybody wants right there at the very end. But the biggest thing behind these is the consistency. We know exactly how long it's going to burn. They're all 6% moisture content. There's no more having to go outside in the wood barrel or in the wood shed and grab 4 or 5 logs, and you don't know if they're 20% moisture or if they're 40% moisture, if they're going to smoke real heavy or burn off real quick. This is consistency, and with these, since they're food grade, they can storm. The restaurants can storm right in their dry storage areas in the restaurants and pull them out, ignite them. You get a little bit of smoke from the first start of the ignition, but you get a beautiful flame for 35, 40 minutes of the burn time until it ashes over. And then once it ashes over, that's when you get that really, really hot temperature.
Okay, going down the list, this looks like a neat product, the Max XL briquettes rather. Yep. How much bigger is it than, say, the standard briquette that we're all used to out of the different color bags?
It's probably 30% bigger. That was the briquette that I was showing you. But where we kind of separate ourselves with our briquette, when we pre-screen our lump charcoal, we basically have a couple of different screenings. Our XL chunks are the first screening, the big chunks that we pull off. Then we have another screening, which is our chunks, which is the tennis ball, size chunks and just a little bit smaller. Well, everything that falls below that, we don't ship. We don't package it up. We basically call it our fines. So what we've done is we've taken that awesome Quebracho lump, we pulverize it into a powder, 95% straight R lump, 5% starch, a potato starch, a food grade potato starch we use for a binder. We bind it up, make it the oversized briquette, about 30% longer than the normal briquette sizes that you're used to. So you get the same characteristics out of our lump. Without the extreme temperatures, we top out, the briquettes will burn at about 550 degrees, but you get that extremely clean burning. There's virtually no smoke, just like our lump produces. And what's nice about it is these briquettes can be used in a Kamado style grill. One of the biggest drawbacks to, trying to use charcoal in a Kamado style grill is ash content, plus some of the off-gassing. With this, it's 95% all natural hardwood, 5% potato starch, and the ash content from a 10-pound bag is going to be less than a half a pound. So it just burns down to nothing.
I bet it works in a gravity feed well too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I could really see it working in my gravity feed, because when I don't like to use lump charcoal, and I like to use just briquettes. But the downside to that, like you say, John, is I'm having to empty that ash pan, 4 and 5 times a cook to keep a good clean fire going.
Right. Well, one thing we didn't discuss, like with our lump charcoal, we have a 2-stage carbonization process. With the denseness of the species that we carbonize, we're fortunate. We carbonize our wood two different ways. Well, actually, when we first carbonize it, it's around to 600 degrees. When we shut the air off, we reignite it and we bring it up to an extreme temperature. Without giving away too many of our proprietary information, what that does for us, it knocks out 90% of the residuals. That's that excess smoke. We have the cleanest burning lump charcoal out there, and that's the one thing we've done more restaurant business than we do in the retail right now. We're shipping more food service, supplying restaurants with live fuels. And what that does for us, it allows our restaurants, they can go across one pit, they can cook a steak, they can cook lamb, something more delicate like fish, without overpowering it with the smoke smell, to where our restaurant chefs actually can, serve their nice proteins out there without overpowering it with like a mesquite or a heavy wood that hasn't been carbonized correctly. And that characteristic passes along right into our briquettes because we're using the exact same lump.
So now, if somebody wants to get a hold of this stuff like me, where do we go to buy it? Say if I'm in Ooltewah, Tennessee, where do we go to buy this to try it?
Well, the briquettes, we're packaging them as we speak in Paraguay. Mm-hmm. We own our own production. One of my owners lives in Paraguay. The other owner lives in California. But the owner that lives in Paraguay, he's been there for 10 years. The bags are there. We're producing the briquettes now. We're packaging them up, but it's like snail mail. I mean, if you can envision 10 days dirt road, 6 weeks in a container. So we'll have that product coming out, the first to middle part, maybe end of February at the absolute latest. Mm-hmm. We're tied in right now. Some of our retailers, Ace, True Value, have our lump. Mm-hmm. We're looking at drop shipping with them, with our briquettes, and our new partnership with Harry Sue and his rub line and sauce line. We're going to be drop shipping through Ace and True Value. One of our biggest e-commerce, like everybody else, Amazon's out there where you can get access to it. The briquettes, we'll probably have that listed on Amazon as soon as they arrive. But some of our brick and mortar stores, Amazon, True Value, are the ones that we're working with right now.
And what about the blocks, fire logs? Are they available right now, John?
They are. They're actually available right now through Amazon.
Okay,
that's the first place that we placed them. And when we opened that with Amazon, we were actually their number one launch in that category with those blocks. It's doing phenomenal.
Who came up with Jealous Devil? What a great name. I mean, you would never. I would if I had to think of a name for a charcoal company, I would think for 1,000 years before I came up with Jealous Devil, and it's so cool.
Well, I'd like to tell you it was my idea, but it wasn't. And I'd probably say both my owners were probably half the bottle through into some nice whiskey. But basically, it's our catchphrase. Our charcoal's so hot, we make the devil jealous.
Oh, okay. I like it. Well, Jon Faulkenberry, thank you so much for joining us here on the BBQ Central Show. A great product. And one more time, show that bag to everybody, just so that people joining. There's a few people joining in late, and they'll want to see it. I know people listening on the podcast won't be able to see this. But go to the website, jealousdevil.com, and check out that bag. It's a resealable, puncture-proof. It really protects the product. And that's
Steve, I'm going to make sure I get you some briquettes as soon as we get them available. So I will. I want some firsthand experience, especially in a guy in a gravity-fed smoker to give me his feedback.
Yeah, and I want some of those logs too, because I'm going to fire them up in that pizza oven. I'm going to order.
That sounds good.
I'm going to order some of those Amazon, because Halloween night we've got a big party here in the neighborhood, and my job is to fire up the pizza oven and make pizzas all night. So I'm going to order some of those from Amazon and get those sent in. Jon Faulkenberry, thank you so much. We sure appreciate you. You bet. Nice meeting you, man. I appreciate you. I tell you,
yes, sir.
You meet so many nice people here on the BBQ Central Show. And even though this will probably be the last time I ever fill in for Greg because of the Skype episode of 2019. Hey, let's real quick. Fireboard. This segment brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring or connect via Bluetooth. And if you have Alexa or Google Assistant in your home, you're in luck because Fireboard is fully integrated with both. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or 816-945-2232 today. But just go to fireboard.com. Also bringing you this part of the BBQ Central Show, Green Mountain Grills. If you're looking to get your hands on one of the best pellet cookers on the market, Green Mountain Grills is what you want. Head right to them at a retailer near you. They only go through retailers. They take care of the people that sell the product. I like that. 2 lines to choose from, the Classic and the Prime lines. Both have similar sizes, the Jim Bowie's and the Daniel Boone. But if you want to save a few thin dollars, then the Classic line is for you. If you're okay with coughing up a few more bucks, Greg suggests the Prime line. The Prime line's built on a more robust chassis. You have peak and windows. I like that too, in both the cooking chamber and the pellet hopper, so you know what's going on inside there. You also have 2 internal meat probe versus the one you get with the Classic line. Also, the Prime line uses that unique 12-volt battery technology, and that's really cool because you can go totally independent with that. This gives the Green Mountain Grill precise fan control, increasing your pellet efficiency. Green Mountain Grills at a retailer near you. And the Smithfield, are you signed up for Smoking with Smithfield in the National Barbecue Championship? Registration is free. Sign up today. Hit smokingwithsmithfield.com. For all of the details, go to smokingwithsmithfield.com. Are you in? Go to the website and see. We'll be right back after a short break. You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Stay with us.
She's so kissable, huggable, lovable, unbelievable. She's a mouthful of anything and everything a man could want. Yeah, she ain't typical, she's unpredictable, she's available. It's a miracle how my heart stumbled into someone so kissable, lovable, unbelievable. Till now my life has been so lonely and boring. Thought I would find someone so elegant.
All right, welcome back. Smoke Sheet is a free weekly newsletter. You know, including top news, events, recipes, and more. It's started by Ryan Cooper, barbecue tourist, Sean Ludwig, also known as New York City Barbecue. Both of them travel around the country on best barbecue and report on it. So I subscribe. It's pretty cool. Keeps you up to date. You sign up for the newsletter, it's free. And full events on their barbecue calendar at barbecuenewsletter.com. Sign up and start sending barbecuenewsletter.com. It is really cool. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for being with us tonight here on the BBQ Central Show. I had a good time filling in. Greg will be back here next Tuesday night with a vast array of guests. We spoke with Meathead in the first hour, Mike Peterson, Master Barbecue in the second hour. Told us about those 3.8.
All my money spent, I put a big down payment on that itty bitty
September.
diamond ring.
They called it 7-14, third highest score ever in the KCBS Competition. And wrapping up the show, Jon Faulkenberry from Jealous Devil Barbecue. Jealous Devil Barbecue. I'm sorry, Jealous Devil Charcoal.com. Charcoal.com. Go there. Learn all about the Jealous Devil line of charcoal. Thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for listening. We'll be back here next night. Until then, drive safely. We'll see ya.
I could